disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. Just, I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
All right. Oh, welcome everybody to another, BDA Boxing Podcast. Jeez Louise, round two, fellas. Round two. Yesterday, we encountered some techno difficulties. So we go back here, return round two to unfinished business from last night, wrap things up. And of course, we have a phone call show tonight. So this is your chance to call in, give us your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. I've been trying to keep my eye on this whole Jake Paul Tyson fight. I mean, hey, listen, we have to put it on the thumbnail because that is the fight that people are talking about. Although I gotta tell you, I have a difficult time figuring out what is genuine hype and what is astroturfed hype. So I don't know. I guess I'll leave it up to you guys to tell me what you think about it in the phone calls. And of course, I want to finish up talking about some of the things from yesterday. So there's a lot to talk about, fellas. A lot to talk about. So strap in. Make sure to call in. The phone number is going to be, if it's not already there. Yeah, it's already there. Left-hand middle portion of your screen. So don't forget that if you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so with the super chat feature. But it's better if you join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. You can check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker at your leisure. And like I said, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, spread the BDA gospel. Who do we have in the chat, by the way? Shout out to Gene Ryu, 33, Hard Recoil, Mars, Bray, Night Murph in the house. Shout out to Night Murph, Alfredo Contreras, Super Sardonic. What else? Double L, or who else rather? Bray, Mars, Maybe more Daguchi Berserk. Shout out to him. Amok. Hopefully you can call back Mark. And more people to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Before I get to some of the stuff that I wanted to talk about yesterday that I missed, Jake Paul is calling out Canelo. I guess that's one way to sell this fight. Everyone has to bring up Canelo. So this is what he had to say. Hold on, let me play it for you. Just the audio.
It's going to be a short night for Mike. It's not about how long you've been doing something. It's about how good you do it. On Friday night, people are going to see me outbox the person who's been doing it their whole life.
Would Canelo be the next fight, finally? Would that happen?
If he's not a fucking puta.
There's the answer.
Jake Joseph Paul will knock out Mike Tyson Friday, November 15th. It is written in the fucking history books.
I mean, if he knocks, this dude's in his 20s, right? If he knocks out a 58-year-old, inactive, drug-addicted, well, allegedly drug-addicted Mike Tyson, is that really something to brag about? I mean, my question is he going to stand up on the post, on the corner, climb the corner, start celebrating like Tommy Fury did when Tommy Fury beat him, Jake Paul? Remember that Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul, by the way. They didn't even really beat him up or anything. He decisioned this amateur. And he's acting, he's crying like he just won a title. I mean, my goodness gracious. I guess, hey, listen, any old win you can take, any old victory you can assimilate into your psyche as if you're hot shit. I guess, hey, listen, go for it. But I got to tell you, this whole thing, like I told people yesterday, look at this from the standpoint of entertainment. That's all fine and dandy. But now when they start, celebrating like they really beat Mike Tyson and then calling out Canelo, come on. If you can't see through that, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Fellas, don't forget the phone lines are open, so make sure to call in, give us your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. I'm going to take a couple of phone calls right now. That way we can get more people to populate this this episode. Hold on a second. All right. Let me see if everything's working properly. 805, you're on the air. 805, what's on your mind? Ah, there we go. What's up, Amak?
Just chilling, man. Just glad you're not disconnecting. Did you finally fix that Obama phone or Wi-Fi?
First of all, it's not Obama Wi-Fi. It's Trudeau Wi-Fi. Remember, I'm in Canada here. Now, you had something to say yesterday, I think.
I kind of forgot, to be honest. I was just pretty much picking who I thought was going to win, like Super Mario, Gordo. I have Gordo losing. I have Colazo winning. I think I'm going to go with Ramirez beating Barboza. Fuck it. Zepeda stopping Farmer. And I think it was someone that fought Ryan.
Someone that fought Ryan?
Duarte? Yeah.
Oh,
Duarte.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, Duarte. Oh, yeah, Oscar Duarte is fighting, yeah.
Yeah, I got him too, so.
So that's it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, let me ask you before I let you go.
Unless you want to talk about the big women's fight.
No, actually no. But before I let you go, I wanted to ask you, Jake Paul now is calling out Canelo. And he's talking about how he's going to knock Mike Tyson out. And I'm thinking, well, you're a 20-something-year-old athlete who's been boxing for a while now. Is it really that big a deal if you knock out a 58-year-old, even if it's an all-time great? Come on.
I don't know, man. It's kind of tricky because Mike Tyson's just not the average old man,
Yeah, but I mean, come on. It's a 58-year-old guy. Would you brag about knocking out a 58-year-old guy is my question.
I mean, Luis Ortiz is still fighting.
By the way, all right, yeah, well, that's true. Anything else you want to say, Amok?
No, that's it, man.
All right, well, thank you for your call, man. Call back next time.
All right. See ya.
All right, see you, man. Yeah, man, listen. Talking about Mike Tyson. Everyone's talking about Mike Tyson. Listen, go enjoy the fight. If you're going to watch it on Netflix, if you already have Netflix, enjoy. My thing is, it's a 58-year-old guy. And wouldn't you know it, Oliver McCall. Yes, Oliver McCall, the guy famous for beating Lennox Lewis in their first fight and then self-imploding in the rematch, is still fighting. If you can believe it, Oliver McCall is going to be fighting soon. That's what I saw on one of those Boxing 24 sites. Hold on, let me see if we can come back here. And he's going to be fighting he's 59 years old. He last boxed in 2019. I thought he was active. I thought he was being one of those old active guys that still fights. He's going to be almost 60. He's going to be fighting a guy by the name of Bigfoot Frazier. No first name that I can see. And McCall's record at this point stands 59, 14, and 38. I'm pretty sure he can still crack. Power's the last thing to go, but I don't know, man. I never like to tell boxers when they should retire, but in this scenario, do you really want a 59-year-old guy going around boxing? It's not going to end well. Then again, the flip side to that coin is if he already has lost most of his brain cells, I mean, what's a couple more fights going to do, right? Might as well go all out or go all in. I don't know. Fellas, don't forget to hit that like. Really helps us out. This is the BD Boxing call-in show where you get to call in, give us your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. And the phone number is right there in the left and middle portion of your screen. Let's go to our phone call. Let's go to 470. 470, you're on the air. 470, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's going on, guys? You guys doing predictions or just talking about the fights or?
Everything and everything, whatever you want.
So, I think I've heard you a couple times. I clicked on y'all yesterday. I guess I get the impression, a lot of people are giving the impression that, it's not a real fight, that it's a sideshow. Here's my thing, right? Mike Tyson, I know his career, didn't end the best, but I think he's still Mike Tyson, youngest heavyweight champ. And I think that, let's just put it this way. This is partially a science experiment as much as it is a fight. I think Jake is enhanced and Mike Tyson is enhanced. And so if I look at a Mike Tyson with all his experience, knowledge, and skill, with the best medicine, quote unquote, money can buy, 7 months of training, his experience and skill, I don't know. I think he's going to get it done on Friday night. That's just my opinion. So we'll see what happens with the fight. But just wanted to give I didn't know you guys were taking predictions or what.
Well, my thing about the Tyson-Paul fight is one of the reasons I'm calling it a circus is I think both guys are two big brands, and I don't think either one wants to crap on the other. That's why I'm saying I don't know if it's a real fight. I don't know if these guys are really. It's an exhibition, technically, isn't it?
It's a real fight. It's going on their records. I just don't think Mike Tyson is. Again, I just don't think with his history in the sport, with all the people who, look at him a certain way, I just don't think he's willing to go in there and do some type of act where he's taking a loss or he's going to get beat up or take a dive or whatever. I'm going with this like they're going to fight. You can gamble on the fight. It's listed as a legitimate fight. It's on BoxRec, and it's not an exhibition. So, assuming that that's the case, I think Mike Tyson gets the job done.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it would be fun either way to see one of these guys lose for real. But I don't know if it's going to be a real fight. I don't know if both guys are going to go in there and not try to hurt each other too bad, or if they hurt one guy, if one guy hurts the other, then they sort of take a step back and don't try to finish him. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they're already hyping this up for round 2 or something.
I would say that what you are saying. I mean, if we want to go down that path, right? I mean, it would be I think it would be beneficial if they had a gentleman's agreement and made it kind of a drawish type of fight, so they could do it again, kind of like Tyson and Roy Jones. So that's within the realm of possibility. But I did think it was interesting. You did bring it up. That he wants to challenge Canelo at 200 pounds for the cruiserweight title if he's successful against Mike Tyson. That's kind of interesting. He's a guy we've never really seen anything like this in boxing, where he's just manipulating. He's finding ways around the rules, like he's cheating the system, and he's getting away with it so far. I mean, he did lose against Tommy Fury, but he knows how to pick. He's bypassing the system. He's not fighting ranked fighters. He's not fighting real fighters. I mean, the way people talk about the guy, I mean, I know he's got some talent, but he's never beaten anybody ranked higher than the top 100 in any weight class. He doesn't have a single win over anybody ranked in the top 100, whether it's light heavyweight, cruiserweight, or heavyweight. So, when you look at his fight with Tyson, you don't know what he really has and what he can really take, And then if he fights Canelo, if that would have ever happened, it'd be at 200 pounds. I don't know. But with the guy, you just don't know, you don't know what he's on. You don't know how he's really training. He's not fighting ranked opponents. It's just it's like one big scam and Ponzi scheme with the guy. And he seems to be getting away with it.
Yeah, it's been very well orchestrated. Now, if the Tyson bout is a real fight where both guys really are trying to rip each other's heads off, what benefits Tyson, despite being an old man, is not just the experience, but the fact that Jake Paul, actually, if you watch his fights, he fights at an old man's pace. The guy's stamina is not world class. I mean, I know they're trying to paint him out as a guy who's for a guy that's been training a lot in boxing, his stamina still pales in comparison to actual professionals. This guy can't go around more than throwing more than 5 shots without having to clinch. So if he gasses against Tyson and Tyson's still coming, it's going to be a clinch fest. That's what I expect.
He's never shown. I mean, people say Tyson is going to get tired. Jake Paul has never shown he can go quality rounds against a top fighter. He's never against. He was gassed against Tommy Fury. So I just don't know what people. I mean, people are talking about this guy like they're putting him on this level. Like I don't know. I just don't see it. And unless a guy fights ranked opponents. The other thing that I find kind of interesting is people are comparing him to that. Oh, he's just below the level of Kevin McBride and Danny Williams, the two guys that Tyson lost to. Those guys both had over close to 35, 40 fights when they fought Tyson. And just because a guy is a journeyman in boxing, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean these guys can't fight. Tyson was on the way to knocking out Danny Williams in the first round. He hurt his ACL in the first round, and and basically in both fights he was winning and he gave up due to exhaustion. So it's not like he went in there and got bombed out. But the way they talk about Jake Paul and his talent and his skill and trying to make it equivalent to real boxers who actually had 20, 30, 35 fights. I don't know. I just think it's kind of crazy. But again, this is because of Tyson's age, people just don't know what to expect. But I think Tyson, let's just say he has the help of modern medicine. I'll put it that way. And because of that, combined with his skill and experience, I think that's enough to get the job done, assuming it's a real fight.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much that helps. And again, I really don't know what to expect. I don't know who's going to win. There's more interesting fights on Saturday than this one, but it is intriguing from a business perspective of what are they gonna do with these two guys? Because again, they're big brands. They can't let either guy come out too beat up or too embarrassed. Right. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't.
Last thing I'll say is along what you just said. If you remember I think, but that was classified as an exhibition. If you remember the Mayweather Paul fight with the Logan Paul. I believe that was choreographed, where they both agreed to just let's just both come out with a draw, or kind of like a non-decision. So they did agree to do that with Mayweather and Logan Paul because I believe they wanted to sell Logan Paul for the future. So this fight here, again, to me, I think it's a legitimate fight, but from a business perspective, it kind of makes sense to just, hey, let's just, we'll fight and we'll make it a little draw and then we'll do it again.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't want to damage each other's brand.
That's what I said in the beginning. That's my intuition. I got no proof for this, but my intuition tells me they might go down that route. But really, if I had to pick what's going to happen, I don't know. I'm really scrambled up for this one. All right. Well, anything else you want to say before we move on?
You guys doing a prediction show, or are you just gonna ride with it? whatever happens, happens.
You're talking about Jake Paul or the Saturday fights?
Paul and Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, Bucho likes doing Friday countdown shows. I don't know if Friday he'll do one right before the event. So maybe then people will take predictions.
Okay. All right.
Well, thank you for your call.
We'll see what happens. Yep.
Call back next time. Take it easy out there. Yeah, this event is really I'm all scrambled up. That's why I'm not. And second of all, I'm not all that interested or invested in like a real fight. But it is interesting because this dude Jake Paul, like the caller said, him and his brain trust have managed to really set him up as an attraction. You know, he's even when he's fighting no hopers, like that last dude he fought. No, excuse me, the before last guy. He fought some Afro Anglo guy that he knocked out in one round, which I believe was in Puerto Rico. And I know there was that female boxer fighting there, but I mean, what I'm saying is they drew a pretty good crowd there. And the same thing when he fought that burn knuckle guy. So it's still doing good business from what I can tell. Again, I don't have access to their books, so I don't know if they're making a profit. But this event is really 2024. This encapsulates the 21st century. And by the way, fellas, don't forget, the phone lines are open in case you want to call in. The phone number is right there in the left and middle portion of your screen. Don't forget to hit the like. It really helps us out. Now, something that I wanted to talk about yesterday, now that we're talking about boxing business and the fact that it is a business, it's an entertainment industry. Like I was saying earlier before the internet crapped out on us, the Turkey Al-Sheikh, that's what I call him, the Turk, has just bought Ring Magazine. And I got a very soft spot in my heart for Ring Magazine because, in fact, as I'm talking here, I'm next here in the BDA office. I got my shelf and I got a whole bunch of things. And one of those things I can look at right now, stacks upon stacks of Ring magazines that I've been buying for over 20 years, or that I was buying for over 20 years. You know, but I really stopped in early 2010s, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why later. But the point is, right now, the Ring Magazine is being bought by Turkey Al-Sheikh. It is coming back as a print version. Now, if you know anything about print media, you know very few publications out there are still around, especially now in the digital era. If you have a magazine or something, it's a good way to hemorrhage money. Very few people read print media anymore. The ones that you will find are the big, long institutions like National Geographic, Time Magazine, maybe Playboy. But Ring Magazine, which is, I think Ring Magazine at some point, or I don't know if while it was still around, was the longest standing sports magazine in the world. And it went out of print. It was now just in the digital version. And now the Turkey Al-Sheikh is coming around, buying it from Golden Boy Promotions, from Oscar De La Hoya. And they're going to be putting it back in print. Which, again, if they're willing to put this in print, that means they're willing to lose money. Just like they've been losing money with those mega cards that they've been putting on. Now, this is a Boxing Scene article from Eric Raskin, who used to write for Ring Magazine, very good writer, and he makes up a bunch of great points here. I invite people to go read the article themselves, but I got a couple of things to say about it. Now, Ring Magazine, it went through different incarnations. It started in the 1920s by Nat Fleischer, who was a hardcore boxing guy, to the point where when he was still alive in the 40s and 50s, this dude wasn't impressed by most boxers. He's one of those guys that thought that boxing peaked in the 1930s. And it was a hardcore boxing magazine back in the days when boxing was, at worst, the number 2 sport in the world, or in the U.S. at least. And then it started, falling on some hard times. 1980s, there was a controversy there with Don King. And by the 1990s, it was by black and white publication. It wasn't doing all that well. I think Nigel Collins is the guy that came on board at the time. And then little by little, it started rebuilding itself. And it was actually a very good quality publication. I said I had a soft spot in my heart for Ring Magazine. And the reason why is, like I said, I'm looking at a stack of magazines that I have here. The things I learned about boxing back pre-YouTube, pre-Twitter, talking to you guys here on this show, it was all just message boards at best if I wanted to talk to hardcore boxing fans. And Ring Magazine provided a way, not just to read about fights that were taking place elsewhere in the world, but the op-ed pieces, the insight that the writers gave you was really top notch. They broke things down perfectly sometimes, and they, if you bought Ring Magazine when you were young and when you were just starting to get into boxing, you learned a lot about some dispelling certain myths, what hooking up the jab means, stuff, just a lot of great information. Then 2011 comes along, and 2008, De Loya, via his different company, umbrella company, ends up buying Ring Magazine. And he said, I remember when that happened, a lot of people were talking about journalistic integrity. Are the people in Ring Magazine, the writers, are they going to be allowed to criticize Golden Boy Promotions, or are they going to, is it going to be like 1930s Russia or something? Well, 2011, only about 3 years later, they fire the core of the writers. We're talking Ivan Goldman, Jeff Ryan, Willem Dedloff, Nigel Collins, who was the editor-in-chief, who'd done a fine job for over a decade, I believe, or more. I don't know if he was there for 20 years as editor-in-chief. I forget. All sacked. And some other dudes that I'm forgetting. And, it was a sad day because nothing against the current crop of writers at Ring Magazine. And Dog Fisher is a legitimate boxing journalist. But it just didn't have the same I bought a couple of issues post-2011. Just didn't have the same feel as the previous Ring Magazine. So they're going to bring it back. And again, it's under the Turkey El Sheikh, who has proven to be something of not a control freak, but he's willing to criticize boxers, and he doesn't seem to enjoy too much criticism of his outfit. And so that brings up a question: are the writers that are going to be hired for this new incarnation of Ring Magazine, are they going to be allowed to criticize Turkey El Sheikh and some of the cards that he puts on? Supposedly, Eric Raskin claims he talked to somebody on the inside, and these potential writers that are being rounded up, this cadre of scribes. Apparently, one of them said that they've been told to keep negative criticism of Turkey El Sheikh off their pens, off their papers, off their laptops, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, probably business as usual. It's a journalistic integrity. And it goes the same thing with most people. I mean, like Eric Raskin said in his article, he says, look, I'm writing on boxing scene, which owns ProBox. So if I want to be critical, if I want to negatively critique ProBox, am I going to be allowed? Am I going to be given tacit statements about you can't criticize them negatively? I mean, I don't know. I guess everyone has their biases, right? That's journalism, I suppose, nowadays in the world, in the era of where corporations and politics are so intermixed and pretty much indistinguishable. Or do we really expect anybody out there, any of these publications, to be unbiased? I like to think of myself as unbiased. There are certain fighters whose character I dislike, but when it comes to making boxing picks, I'll never let that sway me. So in that sense, I guess I am unbiased in making picks. But when it comes to liking certain fighters, I am biased. Listen, I don't root for a certain type of people or personality because they rub me the wrong way. But that's as far as I can identify any biases here. When you got journalism and you got big companies and you got them funding you and paying you, that always is going to transform things a different way. And then on top of that, Raskin also mentioned in the article about the human rights issues, the fact that over there in Saudi Arabia they still got slaves. And they allegedly, the whole Kageshi thing there, where they murdered a guy. Essentially, I think they dismembered him. Now, some people claim they dismembered this dude alive there. I don't know. That's out of my field. But there's a lot of questions in regards to what exactly is going to go on. But it's interesting. Ring Magazine, I'm curious to see what happens. If you go to their website right now, Ring Magazine, it's being reconstructed. It's offline. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what the Sheikh does with it. I'm telling you, these dudes, one thing we do know is these guys are willing to waste money. Or maybe waste isn't the right word. They're willing to throw money at anything related to boxing to make this Riyadh season work. I mean, look at some of the money they've been losing in some of these major cars that they've been producing. And now they're going back to print media to lose more money. My goodness, I got to tell you, it must be great to have money. Or that amount of money. What are people in the chat saying? By the way, don't forget to hit the like and call in. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. By the way, we got somebody re-established their membership program. Who was that? Rampax Trucking Company. Shout out to Rampax Trucking Company 10-4, who says second renaissance, where the BDA army gets groomed. Well, first of all, Rafael Shapiro, my good friend, mentor, and attorney, told me that no, there's no such thing as a BDA army. That puts us liable to be investigated for certain things. So no, it's not an army as much as it's a group of like-minded individuals who want to see things get done. All right. What are people in the chat? So shout out to Rampax Trucking Company. Always good to have you on board. Rampax says the help of modern medicine means Tyson smokes grass. I mean, I don't know. He looks like he's on something. TRT maybe HGH. He's certainly. Then again, he's always been a genetic freak. So maybe he just got himself back in shape, and that's why he's looking like a beast still. I don't know. Unknown says toilet paper for when the economy explodes. Oh, yeah. People are going to be... I mean, we saw what happened 4 years ago with the pandemic. Mars says, correction, stacks and stacks of Playboy magazines. I mean, I've never felt comfortable going out there and buying Playboy magazines. I remember one time, speaking of Ring Magazine, I went to a newsstand in a mall, okay, shopping center, to buy the latest Ring Magazine issue. This was in the early 2000s. I go there, I'm not kidding. There's a guy, an old guy with a trench coat on, just, fingering through Hustler and Playboy, and then, what's the other one? I forget what the other one. He's just standing there reading it like he's reading an Archie comic. I said, my goodness gracious. I actually kept my distance from the guy because I didn't want to accidentally bump into him and then find out his trench coat was all sticky or something. You know what I mean? You got to be careful. Like Recognize says, don't get close to me. That's what he tells people in public. Don't get close to me, bro. Jake Paul, Two Matador says, Jake Paul has never seen how Tyson left Mitch Green's eye. Yeah, but then again, that was a street fight. Super Sardonic says BDA got his stacks of Hustler. At least at least people are keeping it straight. They're saying I read Hustler, Playboy. No one's saying I read Honcho or any of those, Playgirl, any of those gay magazines. What's the other one? Honcho or Hung? I forget. I know they're around. I do my research. Dark Ado says putting it back in print to showcase shitty boxers. I mean, listen. I'm not going to be one of those guys that tells you that boxing right nowadays sucks. There's a lot going on in boxing, man. Come on, we got Usyk, we got Inoue, Bam Rodriguez on the come up. We got interesting fights. People are being challenged, like Jaron Ennis this past Saturday. Who else we got? Kenshiro Teraji. He's a fantastic fighter. That's the other thing. Well, I want to talk about that later on. Benavidez versus Morel apparently is made for February or March, I believe. Let me keep reading a couple of comments. Jin Ryu 33 says, Mr. BDA's bedroom with walls full of pin-up centerfold posters. Oh man, hey, when I went to Vietnam, I was like that. I was like the Cajun chef in Apocalypse Now. He had all these Playboy playmates of the year memorized. Aren't you Miss November? Or the month too. He had them all. Playboy girl of the month memorized. I thought you were a brunette. SJW says Mr. BDA lives in a bunker. Okay, what is this? What's going on here? This is going after Mr. BDA night or something? What's going on? Pacheco versus Macombi. I didn't know about that. By the way, I did hear a second announcement here. Shout out to Lalo Soto Gaming for his contribution. Reestablishing his membership program. Shout out to him. He says, BDA is dubious of the new owners of the Ring Magazine. Rumor is they will leak BDA and Bucho is the same person. LOL. Great show, BDA. I mean, let me tell you something. I've said it before and I'll say it again. That whole thing about me and Bucho being the same person, that is fake news. And next time somebody says that, I'm not a litigious person, but you might be getting a cease and desist letter in the mail if this hijinks or if this defamation continues, all right? That's all I'm going to say about that. But shout out to Lalo Soto Gaming for reestablishing his membership program. Always good to have him on board. That's the thing there with this new era of Ring Magazine. I'm going to buy an issue. Just to see what it's all about. But I am curious to see who they hire. Because I'm unfamiliar nowadays with the names. That's the other thing. A lot of people used to tell me back even in the 2000s. People would tell me in the message boards, why are you still buying Ring Magazine? I mean, you can get all the results online. Like, that's not the point about Ring Magazine. You're not buying a magazine to read the results. Obviously, I'm watching the boxing fights. I know the results. but I want to see what other people are saying about, especially longtime viewers of boxing, such as those writers. I want to hear what they had to say, or read, excuse me. I wanted to read what they had to say about boxing because I was interested in their opinions. I respected them. You give me a bunch of new guys. I don't know who they are. I mean, I'll give them a chance, see what they're all about. But it's also difficult to pull out your wallet to buy something monthly that you don't know if it's going to be a good product. But we'll see. Did Mr. Amok says, did Mr. BDA say he would send defecation? No. I didn't say no, what's he saying? Defecation. Defecation. I didn't say defecation. I didn't say defecation. I said cease and desist right now. Anyway, so that's my spiel about Ring Magazine. Hopefully it's good. And by the way, if anyone's interested in the old Ring Magazine writers, there's a publication that's run by Nigel Collins. I forget what it's called. I'm gonna try to find it. It's called In Boxing or something like that. I don't know. I'll check it out. Now, in the news, by the way, don't forget this is the BD Boxing call-in show, so you guys get to call in, give us your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Don't forget to hit the like. Let's go to another phone call. Let's go to 706. 706. You're on the air. 706. What's your name?
Hey, BDA.
What's up?
Hey, I want to talk about the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, and
wait a minute. Is this
specifically YouTube. Yeah, this is me. This is Soothsayer.
What's up, man?
Es Soothsayer, okay? Formerly Soothsayer.
Mil disculpas. Go ahead.
Always repping Sureños, always. Mentality, everything. So, listen, man, there's a YouTuber, I don't know if you're familiar with Jesse on Fire.
No.
He's like super fucking annoying. This white dude, super pro-Trump, but he talks a lot about fighting. And if you go to his videos, like his history, listen, man, I honestly think that Mike Tyson is going to get the fuck beat out of him, okay? But if you watch this guy's videos, man, he's been blowing up Mike Tyson like, those like 30-second little like training clips that Mike Tyson's been releasing.
Sure.
What do you think about those?
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier with another caller. It's difficult to ascertain just exactly how good Tyson is based off of those little clips. Even, I mean, I was...
BDA, he's an old man, BDA. Come on, man.
Yeah,
I know you like Mike Tyson. Everybody likes Mike Tyson. Everybody likes Mike Tyson. Okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not... It's an old man, bro. Jake Paul has got power. That's what he's bringing, right? That's why he's getting bigger.
But the flip side to that coin, Soothsayer, is that Jake Paul is not a professional fighter. He doesn't have that much experience. And then on top of that, he has an old man's gas tank. This dude does not have a good gas tank. He's got what?
But would you say that he's got enough to knock people out, right? He knows where to hit them now. By now, he knows where to connect.
Right.
He's not just throwing punches anymore.
Who's he be knocking out, by the way, or knocking down?
Everybody, all the guys. Ben Askren, Woodley.
Right.
Harry.
Are these guys boxers?
You can say he's just... BD, I get it. Okay, they may not be boxers, but he knows where to connect to knock somebody out.
I mean, I know where to connect to knock somebody out. That doesn't mean I can beat anybody because I know where to connect to knock them out.
Wow, you're really going to fucking go for Mike Tyson. Wow. I'm
not saying that. Really I'm not saying that. First of all, like I was telling the other guy, I don't even know if this is a real fight. I think they have a gentleman's agreement where they're not going to try to hurt each other too much.
I don't think so, man. I don't think Jake Paul would sign on to that, man. When he starts giving people the gifts, it's like he gives them these gifts before the fight. Did you see that? He gave Mike Tyson a pigeon, right? He gave the other guy a Rolex. He does this thing where he feels bad about what he's about to do, and I think that gift before the fight is like him saying like, shit, like I know you're a legend, but he's gonna have to do what he's got to do.
Well, can I tell you something? Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Maybe you're wrong. I really don't care.
No, I think in this one you're wrong.
I really don't care who wins, man.
In this fight, in this freak show, I think you're wrong, bro.
All right,
I think you're fucking dead wrong.
Maybe. I mean, I've been wrong before.
And just
so.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay, and just lastly, I want to leave with this, man. Listen, I
want to say something afterwards, so don't leave immediately because I got something to say. But go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. I just listen. Whether you like Trump or not, man, the fact that he won and he's putting this fear in these like Haitians and in these Venezuelans, I really, we're seeing a change, man.
What are you talking about?
He brought that fucking fear back to these people, man. Okay?
All right. Well, listen. This is a good segue into what I wanted to tell you. I did a bunch of Halloween shows, focusing on the paranormal and all that on Second Renaissance, and I told you I wanted you to be on. And where were you? MIA.
Hey, listen, I have an update, man. I've been working out for the past 4 months. Okay. It's the winter arc, man. I made a whole like a body transformation, and I will be posting that soon because that's where I stand.
Are you jacked now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm getting there, man.
Well, what are you doing? Are you just lifting weights, or are you doing? Well, what are you doing exactly?
I wake up at 4 a.m. I have a breakfast. I go to the gym. I start lifting, man. I'm telling you, I am completely obsessed with lifting weights now. But you guys will see an update soon. But I'm just gonna go ahead and predict it here, man. Mike Tyson's gonna get the fuck beat out of him. Okay, that's just how it's gonna be.
Hey, let me ask you something. Are you getting ready for? You said it's a winter arc. You're getting ready for you're preparing your body. Yeah. Are you preparing your body for some sort of war? Some holy war that's coming up?
A race. I think holy war is coming. It's gotta happen, bro. It's gotta happen. I know you don't like the Jews, but listen, man. Israel is the Holy Land. Okay.
I'm fine with the Jews. There's just a couple of them that are causing too much trouble out there.
Down with Palestine, up with Israel, man. That's all I gotta say.
Don't tell me that. What are you doing? Hey, by the way, some people are saying that. Do you go to the gym, or do you work out at home? Oh, he hung up. See, Surser, I've noticed with Surser, he doesn't like me asking him too many questions. Even when we're in Second Renaissance, I go, hey, you with this and that. He's very reserved. I don't know if somebody was. He sounded like he was running too. I don't know if you guys caught that. He lives over there in the Appalachians, and he was moving around. Maybe maybe he thought somebody was following him, and he had to get rid of his flip phone. I bet you he's got a bunch of flip phones that he uses. Entree's calls. All right, fellas, don't forget to hit the like. Really helps us out. Don't forget the phone numbers right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. So if you guys want to call in, make sure to do so to give us all your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. Quick Slot says he's scheming. Yeah, sounds like it, man. He's cooking up a little something, let me tell you. Surser is always up to something. Shout out to him. Good to hear from him. Shout out to Rafael Garza for his contribution with the Super Chat. Really appreciate his contribution right now, man. And he says, what is going to happen with the ring belt? Oh, you know what? I can't believe I forgot to talk about that. Thank you, Rafael. He says, allegedly, Heyman also wanted to steal the ring belt from De La Hoya. That ring belt will legitimize a boxer and bypass the WBC, WBO, WBA, and IBF. First of all, Rafael, again, thank you for your contribution. Really appreciate it. And thank you for reminding me to talk about the Ring Magazine belt. I can't believe I forgot to talk about that. The Ring Magazine belt, if I remember correctly, started in 2002 because thereabouts is when the WBA, in their infinite wisdom, decided to create the super version of their belt, thus creating two belts. I recently started watching boxing. That's it. Nobody really, other than some Europeans, nobody really cared about the WBO. So you had three belts, right? Then the WBA comes out and they says, oh yeah, we're going to create, because they were from Venezuela or whatever, we're going to create more belt. We're going to create one more belt, okay? One more belt. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, what? Now you got, but by the way, the WBA in those days, they were the worst with the rankings and everything. And, look into the Clarence Bones Adams situation, how they dicked him around for weeks. But, so yeah, that's when the Ring Magazine had enough. And they said, you know what? These alphabet sanctioning bodies are out of control. We got to do something. And then that's when they created their own belt. And people like Max Kellerman, who was at the time working for ESPN, really, helped to try to bring attention to Ring Magazine and say, look, these guys know their stuff. They're not asking for sanctioning fees. They're not in it for the money, in terms of rankings and all that. They will be the most legitimate ranking system out there for the moment. And then ESPN came along and so on and so forth. But then Golden Boy came along and they had their own little panel. And we don't, at least with ESPN, if you go to the pound for pound list, they show you which personality, which ESPN guy voted for which fighter. Ring Magazine doesn't let you do that. In fact, how many times has Doug Fisher gone on Twitter because people tag him and say, "Hey, how come this dude's number 6 pound for pound? What the fuck?" And he'll go, "Listen, it's not my call. It's a democratic thing, I suppose. It's a committee thing." I don't even know who those committee members are. I think they used to tell you who the committee members were. I don't see that list anywhere else anymore. So that's how it changed there with Golden Boy. Remember, and I know pound for pound rankings are subjective, but they had Adrian Broner number 6 or 5 pound for pound in 2013, or 2012, after he beat Antonio DeMarco. Can you believe that? Because I remember Broner at the time was a Golden Boy fighter, and he was being touted as the next Mayweather with punching power, this and that. They put him number 6 pound for pound. I think what happened too was that they put him number 5. And then there was so much backlash, they had to move him down a spot to try to appease people. But he was ridiculous. But yes, hey, what's going to happen with the Ring Magazine belt now that the Sheik is going to be running it, Turki Al Sheik? Well, that's one of the things Raskin mentioned in his article is, are they going to just give it to, or no, are they going to please certain fighters who toe the company line? You know what I mean? Like, for example, the Turki Al Sheik seems to be very friendly with Terence Crawford. That's the other thing. With Ring Magazine, it used to be that if you wanted to get the ring belt, it had to be a matchup between the number 1 ranked guy and the number 2 ranked guy. Then they decided, well, in certain situations, it can be number 1 versus number 3. And then I think they got rid of that. I think also one of the things about initially of Ring Magazine was that they couldn't strip anybody, any champion, unless they lost it in the ring. But I think Ring Magazine stopped doing that during De La Hoya's incarnation or tenure. And they actually, I remember they stripped Adonis Stevenson of his light heavyweight Ring Magazine title. So I forget if initially they weren't supposed to do that. But again, so that, yeah, that's a good question, man. I don't know what Turki Al Sheik is going to do. And maybe he's going to try to use that Ring Magazine belt to legitimize his organization in Riyadh season, which is strange because the sanctioning bodies have been around for decades, and these guys are entrenched and they don't let anybody mess with their money. They make money off sanctioning fees, and people legitimize them, in the media, and especially fans. When fans go, "Oh, this dude's a former, WBA champion," it's like, well, who cares, man? Jake Paul's gonna get himself a title soon. You watch. Is it really that impressive when you get 6 different versions of a title floating around? Well, not 6 different versions of a title, but you got 6 people in certain divisions calling themselves titleists. That's insane. Who's the champion? Champion means there's one champion, one guy who's the king, not 6 kings. It's ridiculous. So how is the WBC, the WBA, IBF, WBO, how they're going to react if Turki Al Sheik starts saying, you know what, I don't really care too much for these organizations. I'm just going to go with the ring belt rankings, which are, going to be, the rank is going to be decided by people who are getting paid by me. I mean, how's that going to work? And are those other organizations going to try to do some sort of coup against him? I mean, again, remember, Al Heyman was going to try to create a PBC belt. That went nowhere after the first event. So who knows what's going to happen with this one? Fighters, they do or rely on some of these belts. Because, I mean, if you're a nobody boxer and you get a belt, you put that on the marquee, it helps, right? Hey, champion, they rely on this type of stuff. But what if the Turk comes out and says, you know what, don't worry about it, I'm paying you money either way. It doesn't matter whether we advertise this as WBA. But that's the other thing. What if in the Riyadh seasons events, they stop calling guys, or they stop announcing guys as the WBA champ, WBO champ? What happens then? Could be a different world, let me tell you. Could it be a better world? I don't know. Fellas, make sure to call in. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Call in. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Alumnet12 in the chat says, Johnny Somali is going to go to Canada next and twerk on BDA in public. Now, first of all, Johnny Somali might not be making it out of South Korea. That's number 1. Number 2, if he ever went here into my neck of the woods, let me tell you something. We got a little something planned for people like him, people who disrupt the neighborhood. I mean, it's a small neighborhood I live in. Everybody knows each other. And I'm something of an authority figure here. So if I give it a go-ahead, things can go down, and they can go down hard real quick. I'll just leave it at that. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 210. 210, you're in the air. 210, what's on your mind?
Man, I got so much to say. This is South-Paul. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, South-Paul?
Chilling, man. Like, I agree with you with the sanctioning bodies, man. And doesn't it drive you crazy? I made this point before when you had that fucking milk dud. What's that guy? The host's name of PBC? Brian Custer? Is that his name?
Yes, that dude. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, fucking milk dud, man. He's like, when he was running the press conferences and the shows on live TV, he couldn't help but say the first of the 6 belt era. The first. He would say that phrase over and over and over, and it was driving me crazy because he's saying it like it's some kind of record-breaking thing, but like it's a bad thing. If anything, if you're a casual and you're listening to that, you're like 6 or the 4 belt. I'm sorry, first the 4 belt era. I'm like, why would you? That would just make you ask questions. You know what I mean? Like these sanctioning bodies are way out of control. Everything's watered down. You saw, like y'all were talking about the Ring magazine. They started off with a good bunch of people. They still got some, but now it's turning into a popularity contest because at the end of the day, they need money too. So you're seeing these guys put guys like Tank Davis on the pound for pound list. You're seeing Adrian Broner as a 4-weight world champion. You're seeing the record books being watered down to a point where it's going to drown out true greatness, and it's pathetic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why fighters are obsessed with this. I want to pay 12% of my purse on top of being taxed, on top of paying my manager, on top of paying my promoter, on top of paying my trainer, my nutritionist, and my mortgage, because they want 4 trinkets. They want to hold 4 belts up. It blows my mind.
Yeah, it's a lack of logic in that regard. I guess maybe it's part of it's a paradigm thing or something where they grew up with that, and so they think they need it. I mean, Marco Antonio Barrero was one of the few guys, I don't know if you remember, but when they stripped him of the WBO belt, I think, the WBO after the Hamed fight, they gave him the Ring magazine. He said, good enough for me. I don't need any other belt. So he was saving money actually by not playing around with the sanctioning bodies. But the promoters also must have some sort of deal with these sanctioning organizations and the networks too. So everyone's feeding off each other.
Yeah, they do. Because you're right. PBC has the WBC. Top Rank has the WBO. And they all have their line. And even with the local promoter shows around here. I see all these mismatches and these guys that are like 4-0, on these local shows that are just a bunch of mismatches, a bunch of guys that just work at the gas station. And it's like they even have these little trinket belts down here. There's like a world boxing something, and I'm like, holy shit, they're giving a belt to a guy that's 3-0. You know what I mean? But it like dresses up the event. And if you're a casual, you see a belt, you don't know any better. You're like, oh, wow, a belt. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is, man. It's just boxing is getting really bad. But it's going to take a trendsetter like Canelo. Because if you notice, after Canelo went undisputed, like he wanted all 4 belts, then Terrence Crawford, I want to be undisputed. Then, what's his name? Teofimo Lopez. Oh, yeah, I want to be undisputed. Then you see Teofimo fanboying at Canelo's, bringing his belts to his Canelo's event. Getting in the press. It's going to take somebody like Canelo to be like, look, man, I'm not paying you guys all that money. If I'm the biggest name, I'm the most recognized face, and everybody knows I'm the best, I'm just going with the ring belt, and you guys can all kiss my ass. You know what I mean? With paying 12% of my purse for all these belts.
Yeah, but like you said, in large part, these guys enjoy having all those belts. It plays to their egos. Like, oh, look at all this the trophy wear I've got. And I don't, like you said, it's going to take a trendsetter to do that. And at some point, also somebody has to sort of say the benefits, which is you're paying all these, and then on top of that, you win all 4 belts, you work hard to get them in certain cases, and then the IBF comes along and says, "Whoop, we're going to strip you." You're thinking, well, couldn't even defend the undisputed championship. And by the way, yeah, you mentioned also too that the fact that when this whole undisputed and the 4 belt era thing started, Crawford likes to take credit for it, but I mean, ever since the 3 belts have started, it's always been a big deal to have the 3 belts. I mean, Lennox Lewis Holyfield, it was for all the 3 belts. Bernard Hopkins won all 3 belts. So I don't understand why Crawford believes like he set some sort of trend. Why? Because now so in other words, by his logic, if the IBO ever gets legitimized, someone's going to set a trend for being the 5-time undisputed, 5 belt undisputed champions. Like, it's ridiculous. It's enough, man.
Yeah, and you're right. And it is about egos. And you see Tank with his belt, and everybody knows that wasn't the real belt. You know what I mean? That was the regular. Now you got the regular belts. You know what I mean? It's a huge mess, man, and it's got to be cleaned up. But I do want to talk about Tyson. Do I got time for that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I might go to Tyson's fight, man. Tyson's my all-time favorite fighter. My son's going because he became a big Mike Tyson fan. He's only 13, but you know what I mean. Like, but he knows how much I like Tyson. He watches videos of him, so he's going, and I might just go last minute. I think I am. I'm gonna hit up. If y'all need to go last minute, hit up Jim Boone from KO Tickets. He's real cool, and he will hit you right back up. But that's Steve Kim's guy. But yeah, but everybody's talking about this fight, man. I'm telling you, I was having a drink on Monday at this college area around, because they're usually a bunch of beta males, right, and around the college area, a bunch of libs, right? So a bunch of liberal guys, and they're talking about the fight. Everybody's talking about the fight, and this puts things in perspective, man. This shows that not only are we watering down the titles, we're watering down what a real star it means, because they're getting smaller and smaller. It's like when you see the size comparison of the planets in the solar system compared to the sun, and you're like, oh shit, like this we think we're big. Look at this one. We think we're big. Look at how big this planet is. It's like the same thing with Tyson. Tyson was the last true global star we ever had, ever. And then they downsized. They went down to the Oscar De La Hoyas, the Floyd Mayweathers, the Manny Pacquiaos. You know what I mean? So it got smaller. And now, and Canelo's the last of that cloth as far as the 90s, the 2000s HBO era. Now it's shrinking down to like Tank Davis is the face of boxing. He's a star. Tank Davis is a star. I'm like, what? I'm like, this dude doesn't crack 200K, and you see, and it puts things in perspective now that you see how big Tyson really was compared to Oscar De La Hoya. He eclipses De La Hoya. He eclipses Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? And then those guys eclipse Teofimo. They eclipse Gervonta. They eclipse Haney. All these delusional new guys who think they're stars. And it's sad, man. I don't know, man. It's a crazy thing, but I do hope that it is a gentleman's agreement. But I agree with the other guy. I think Jake Paul is that crazy enough to be like, if I beat the shit out of a legend who everybody loves in Mike Tyson, everybody's gonna hate me, and he's gonna sell off of hate the same way Floyd did.
That's possible.
You know what I mean? So I think he's crazy enough to be like, I don't care. I'm gonna do it, and everybody's gonna hate me, but they're gonna watch me because they're gonna hate me. And it's just like, I hope it doesn't happen, man. I'll probably be in the building. I just want to go because I think it's gonna be a big crowd. And since he's my all-time favorite fighter, I have to change of heart. I'm like, I'm gonna go because I'll be able to see the ring walk. I'll be able to shout and scream when they call his name, and live in person at a fight, because I never did, because I was too young when he was.
You can start a riot if things go awry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna throw my beer in the ring if he
fucking some
if he hurts Tyson.
All right. Well, listen. And the other card's not that bad. You got Barrios versus Abel Ramos. That should be a decent fight. So, yeah, man. Why not? If the price is okay.
I like Barrios. I actually knew Barrios. I actually know that guy. So so I'm gonna go down there. I'll probably support it last minute, man. I'm not crazy about it. It's one of those things. I'm torn, man. Like it's gonna be a huge. It's gonna be a huge event. They're gonna do it big, man. This is gonna be a big event with all the bells and whistles, and it's got all the casuals tuning in. So I hope it's not another, because every time this happens, boxing gets embarrassed. So I hope it's not one of those things like the Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight, where everybody's tuning in, and then they're like, they see Tyson get pummeled, and it's sad, and then they're gonna be like, man, fuck boxing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let it get embarrassed. Why not? All right, well, listen, if you do go, have fun, and thank you for calling in there, Southpaw. Take it easy out there.
All right, man. I'll give you a report.
Yes, there you go. Give us a boots on the ground report. All right, man. Take it easy out there.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's don't forget, fellas, hit the like. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Make sure to call in, give us your thoughts on everything and anything boxing. Let's go to our phone call. Let's go to 309. 309, you're on the air. 309, what's on your mind?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Yo, I was like you said, bro, all I care about this week is this Tyson fight. He's like one of the last big greats since like Ali. So it's like all eyes on Tyson to make sure he finished this nigga. I don't give a fuck if he's 58. He's not like a 58 Evander Holyfield. Like, bro, Evander Holyfield was punch drunk. He looked like he was clueless. He's stumbling on his words. Yeah, he got the body. He got the steroid, whatever the fuck he had. I mean, he probably just got, good fit man, but he was not in fight shape. But this guy, oh yeah, Tyson hit different. And I'm going to tell you something. Jake has been picking and choosing his fights. Like, Jake fought a dude that was on a 4-year layoff before he fought Mike Perry. Mike Perry ain't no boxer. Mike Perry is a macho brawler. Like, yeah, Jake looks good, but he picks people that he's over, he overskilled in those departments against those people. But he's fighting somebody that has that shit on autopilot. He's fighting somebody that has something to prove to his kids. I don't think Mike laying down because, bro, Mike don't give a fuck. Mike don't give a fuck. I can just see it in his eyes. And I know a lot of people are scared for Mike, but trust me, Mike gonna knock this motherfucker out because Mike knows the hood watching. And deep down inside, he know the hood watching. We watching this nigga. We making sure he clean this nigga up in boxing watching. But he know the hood watching. He can say all that shit. Like, I'm gonna die someday. No, nigga. You give a fuck, because if you lose to this nigga, come on, I don't give a fuck how old you are. You shouldn't have picked the fight. So I'm banking on motherfucking Mike to knock this nigga out. But hold on. What were you finna say? My bad.
No, go ahead.
But I was finna say, bro, if you look at Jake, when somebody can stay with him, he gets sloppy, bro. Mm-hmm. You realize that he got sloppy in the Tommy Fury fight. He got sloppy fighting Nate Diaz. He got sloppy in the, Tyrone Woodley fight, bro. He gets sloppy. He doesn't have a tank. I fucking know deep down in my heart Mike Tyson got a better tank than this nigga. He ain't even a real fighter. Like, people hyping him up for no reason, bro. He can pick good opponents. That's about it. But what are you finna say?
Yeah, I was going to say that you brought up the good point about how, if Tyson were to lose, I don't think this guy could show his face anywhere anymore in public. But the Jake Paul thing, you're right. Like, that's what I was telling other people, was that Jake Paul has old man stamina. This dude does not have a professional boxer's stamina. After 3 rounds, he's gassing, clinching, shaking his ass. So, yeah, man, I mean, but let me ask you something, caller. Do you think this is a real fight, or do you think these guys might have a gentleman's agreement not to hurt each other too much and walk away with their brand still intact?
I think it's a real fight because I see how Mike moving. Mike got them little ass shorts, so no diddy fighting, getting training and shit, bro. Mike is for real, bro. I see this little nigga. Mike for real, bro. Mike ain't finna do all this. Mike is not finna do all this. Bro, because he got, everybody's watching this man, bro. This is like one of the biggest fights since shit. This is a huge fight. Because they got an OG in there. You feel me? That's like getting Ali in there. You feel me? If he wasn't CTE'd up and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is some big shit. So he gotta knock this motherfucker out, bro. They're at the AT&T Stadium, bro. This is a big deal. So I don't think he's playing. He can't play. Like, he wanted it a professional fight. You got to remember. Hold up. He wanted it a professional fight. Mike wanted it. Mike wants to fuck him up. He's not going to say it too much because he don't want to make Jake have a fake injury, but Mike's going to fuck this guy up.
Well, I got to tell you, it's 2 days away. Now you're hyping me up. Let's see what happens. Hopefully it's a real fight and we see something dramatic happen. So hopefully somebody gets hurt real bad. I've said it before.
Oh, yeah,
that's why.
Hopefully Jake do. But there's one more fight, though. There's one more fight. Soto Ramirez versus Chris Billings-Smith. Kevin Farmer. What's dude's name? William Zepeda. I got to give him my prediction. This is easy, by the way. You can say, Easy got it right. Easy Fisker. So we got Tevin Farmer for the upset. Fuck it. 'Cause
Okay.
Fuck it. But the other one, Zerto, Big Zerto gonna get that nigga. He can box pretty good. Yeah, Oscar Duarte, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know who he's fighting, but, you know, he might just knock the nigga out. Barbosa, Ramirez might make it a tough fight inside. He's gonna probably get that. Who wouldn't mind seeing Ramirez get another shot at the title? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Been out the game for a little bit.
And that's the thing about Jose Ramirez. He brings it. Every time he fights, he brings it. He's always coming forward, trying to make action fights happening. I like watching that guy fight. I'm going to root for him a little bit. That's the other thing, though. If Jake Paul were to win, let's say he wins, some of the other callers were saying that people would hate Jake Paul for beating a legend. Like you said, you know, you equated him to Ali. Do you think Jake Paul's name would become bigger with the hate?
Oh yeah, he'll be. I think he'll be bigger than Floyd. Like, you gotta remember, bro. Mike Tyson was something else. It was bigger than motherfucking Mayweather. Like, bro, you're a heavyweight. Everything. You know, eyes on heavyweight, bro. Come on now. Heavyweight trumps all them little weights. That dude was on top of the mountain at a point in time, bro. A lot of people know this motherfucker, bro. Mike Tyson is a little different. So yeah, if he beat him, he can expect like 1 million pay-per-view buys his next fight if he picked the right guy. Like, no cap. So this is a money play. If he can complete what he wants, he's like, it's written in the stars. But I can tell there's insecurity in Jake. When people say he was going to lose, he's shaking hands, trying to put a meal up. Bro, he's insecure at the end of the day. When you do that when you're insecure, you're like, the biggest talker is the most scared dude in the room. Remember that.
That's right.
Jake is low-key scared, but he ain't going to tell nobody.
Yeah, I
He
think
ain't
so.
going to tell nobody.
I think so. Maybe the moment will get to him. He's not prepared for that type of stuff. All right, well, listen,
bro, you know how many motherfuckers gonna be in there? Hold up. I'm gonna get off, you know how many motherfuckers gonna be in there? Go get to him. Because Mike, you in there with Mike, bro. Anybody else? You in there with Mike. Come on now.
Yeah, imagine you. It'll be interesting to see in the ring walk how he looks. If he looks all wide-eyed and sweaty, that's probably because he's feeling the pressure. But we'll see, man. We'll see. All right, well, listen, man, we're going to move on here, but thank you for your call, and call back next time, all right?
All right, most def.
All right, take it easy out there.
Yep.
Sounds like he was driving to the highway there. But yeah, man, I mean, listen, I'm starting from what this caller said, and then what Southpaw said too. Is there's a lot of hype out there now. College kids are really talking about this fight, and I didn't even know it was at the AT&T Center. By the way, I thought it was in some sort of other Texas arena or something. It's in a stadium. That's the AT&T, right? Or no, excuse me, no, that's Cowboys Stadium, right? Okay, so but still, it's a big venue. It'll be interesting to see if they can fill it up on Friday. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 713. 713, you're in the air. 713, what's on your mind?
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, man.
Oh, man. First of all, I think you went off the air unexpectedly last time. But I was going to say, man, with Boots, even though he looked bad, but he still won. And then what's his name? Mason guy. And then Keyshawn was a pretty good weekend of fights. And as far as this weekend, we have a couple of good fights lined up. So all in all, it's a pretty good time for boxing. December month, that's gonna be ugh. But yeah, I mean, I'm not excited for Tyson. I'm like, man, but Tyson. I think the fight's gonna go 2 minute rounds and a minute of rest. And I mean, it's already a no contest anyway. So it's not like they're not gonna fight for real, And as far as the belts, all the belts they all lost their luster. The Ring Magazine, God knows how many. I mean, the WBC belts. They got way too many of those. The WAs, they got the super status belt. The IBF, I guess if you don't follow their rules, they strip you. And the WBO, that's just it's just the ranking is all messed up. But yeah, I mean, either way, I'm excited for Friday night and Saturday. Thanks for having me on the show. Bye.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in, man, and call back next time. Take it easy out there.
Okay.
Yeah, good points about that. Yeah, the last week was pretty good too. And December's not that bad, by the way. We got Navarrete versus Valdez, the rematch. That should be interesting. Then on the undercard of that one, you got the rematch between Rovici Ramirez and Divino Espinoza. That's gonna be that fight was, I don't know if it was voted fight of the year, but it was up there in terms of ebbs and flows and constant action. So that's gonna be a good one. That very day you got Liam Parr versus Hitchens at 140 pounds. Then afterwards it gets a little dry until we get to the 21st when we have Usyk and Fury rematching each other. And then of course on the undercard of that one, Madrimov versus Bohashok on 154 pounds. Ooh, it's going to be a barn burner right there. Then you got Inoue versus Sam Goodman, who's he's a good fighter. He's got quick hands, he's got agility, he seems to be confident, so could be an interesting fight right there. And then I believe in the 31st, Ioka is going to be rematching Puma Martinez, who Puma Martinez beat Ioka a couple of months ago, and so they're rematching now. And then if Puma is able to beat Ioka, we might be seeing him and Bam tangling in the future. I'm going to talk about that later on. But in the meantime, fellas, don't forget to hit the like and to call in. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Make sure to do that right off the bat. What are people saying in the chat, by the way? Hold on a second. Yeah, like I said, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Really helps us out. Ralph Unreal says that the fight is sanctioned. Unknown says too many padded records. LAC2 says Tyson versus Paul, two fighters who endorse Trump. I want to see Trump endorse this fight. Yeah, he should, huh? Should give him a little payback, or a little reward for them helping him. I mean, Jake Paul, he does have a lot of sway with the young crowd. Maybe that helped. Warrior Way says them keyboard warriors be real brave online, but real quiet in person. Well, I mean that's keyboard warriors for you. They like to type real quick, but they're not about that life, like they say. What else are people saying? Crushing Might says no KO for Mike. Interesting. Unknown says, who's the fuck sanctioned this fight? Well, it's got to be the Texas Commission, which for a long time now has been considered one of the worst commissions in the United States, just based off of all the controversy that's gone on there, the bad decisions and so on. What else was I going to say about this? Oh, yeah, okay, so don't forget to call in. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. I wanted to talk about Shakur Stevenson just recently. He's best friends with Terence Crawford. I don't really think he's his best friends as much as he wants to be best friends with Terence Crawford. Crawford probably looks at him like he probably calls Crawford up at midnight and goes, hey, man, what you doing? What you doing? The guy's asleep with his wife. He's like, I'm asleep, man. What's going on? Hey, you want to hang out or something? Or what you doing? What you doing? That's how Shakur Stevenson strikes me. But anyway, in this scenario, he said that he's not interested in seeing Jaron Ennis take on Terence Crawford. Check this out. He says, I don't want to ever see the fight, ever. I think that is just two different eras, two different times. I know they're here at the same time, but I think that Bud is at the tail end. He's probably got maybe one or two more fights in him, and it ain't one of the fights I want to see. I would rather see him fight Canelo Alvarez. Now, he's still... Crawford was ready... When people were making fun of Crawford on Twitter for saying, you're begging for a Canelo fight, he was very, very adamant about saying he doesn't really care about that fight. He's not a desperate, whatever. His friends still seem to think that that fight's a possibility. I don't know why they keep bringing it up. And, he's saying, I want to see him fight Canelo Alvarez. And he said, by the way, that he thinks Bud would outbox Canelo. But here's my thing. His argument for not wanting to see the fight is, well, it's two different eras. I'm thinking, what does that have to do with anything? But fighters from different eras, old fighters have fought young fighters before. Now, again, that doesn't mean Crawford has to do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Crawford has to stick around for longer than he wants to. But if he doesn't fight a guy like Jaron Ennis or the young crops coming up, it kind of is a little bit of a knock on his legacy. Because, he was complaining about, people are ducking me. Now he gets to the top and he wants a payday against Canelo, and that's all he wants. He's not looking to defend against Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Ennis, what's the guy's name? Murtazaliev or whatever, that monster there that ended up ending Tim Tszyu. Come on, fight those guys. What else are you going to do? Sit around for another year inactive? A guy can only do that so often. Look at it against Madrimov. I would argue it almost cost him. think the inactivity might have something to do with that. You never know. So, I mean, I don't understand why all of a sudden even Crawford's friends don't want to see that fight. I mean, Pacquiao and Thurman, well, they were from a different era. Pacquiao, see, that's the thing. If you want, like I said, if Crawford wants to retire, fine, retire without fighting any of these guys. But it really will set a limit to his marquee, to his legacy. Not to have fought some of these younger guys. That's just the reality. But again, he can retire whenever he wants. Who am I to tell the guy, don't retire? If they want to retire, they don't feel it anymore, whatever, yeah, let them retire. Rather that than see them go out sad. That's always sad. But for Stevenson to say he doesn't want to see these fights, I mean, I don't know. Hey, maybe some people don't want to see him fight Tank Davis because it's going to be boring. And, you know, the customer's always right. So what would Stevenson say there? Would he say that that's fair? Are people allowed to say that? I don't know. It depends on what he says. Here's the other thing I want to talk about. You guys know I'm very high on Bam Rodriguez. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch, must-see TV. And in the previous to last episode, I was really harping on the fact that these people that are trying to bring up Inoue in the BAM conversations, like, you know, I know the zone, they have to do it, you know, they have to hype him up and all that. But by bringing up Inoue, you're sort of overrating Bam Rodriguez to the point where it's almost like, well, you know, well, he's so good that the only way anybody could beat him would have to be Inoue at 122. It's like, no, man. There's plenty of good little fighters at 115. There's one right there. Like I said, Puma Martinez is right there. And even at 118, Nakatani is a stern challenge. I don't know who I'd pick in that one. So now Eddie Hearn is saying that Bam probably won't fight too far in weight. Or he won't lose until he moves up too far in weight. Look, Bam Rodriguez is 5'3". He's a short dude. And let's not forget that he looked great against Cesar Rangvisai. And then what happened? He went 12 rounds against Israel Gonzalez. Had to low blow a lot in that fight, Jesse Rodriguez did. And then he looked average again against Christian Gonzalez, a guy who's very mobile, young, not a hard hitter. Ended up fracturing Bam Rodriguez's jaw. And then all of a sudden, the Bam Rodriguez hype train slowed down. Then he beat up what's his name, Sonny Edwards. That got me back on the train because I said, okay, I wasn't sure if maybe he'd hit his limit or whatever. And but then the Estrada, people went way overboard with Estrada. Estrada was rusty as hell, man, rusty as hell and older. So I don't know why people start saying, my God, this dude he's a man. It's like, you know, 2 fights earlier he wasn't looking all that hot. So that's, you know, probably that happens in another fight. And then all of a sudden, people go back to reality. Because, again, I've seen it before. I remember when some people were saying Lomachenko, after Lomachenko beat Rigondeaux, made him quit, out-finessed the finesse fighter. Some people were saying, geez, Luis, this fucking Lomachenko, who can beat him at 135 or 130? I mean, this dude is just, you know, nobody from 130 to 140 can beat him. Same thing with Errol Spence. After he beat Mikey Garcia, some people were saying, man, the only guy, he can go up to 160 and beat Canelo. That's what some people were saying. Same thing with Golovkin during Golovkin Mania. People were saying this dude, or Terence Crawford, more recent example, after he beat the crap out of Spence. Man, Terence Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez at 168. It's like, man, physical limitations exist for a reason. And Bam Rodriguez, well, Dora says he's 5'4". Always remember, what they tell you, deduct half an inch from it. So he's 5'3.5". But yeah, the reason why I keep bringing this up is stop overhyping Bam Rodriguez, because then you're falling into the same category of these people that overhype Jaron Ennis, they overhype. And don't get me wrong, obviously he's much better than these guys that get praised for doing nothing, because Bam Rodriguez actually done something. But there is a degree of overhype going on here. And I want to see him fight Puma Martinez, El Pumita, as they call him, before we even get to any of that. Speaking of Puma Martinez, he's going to be fighting, like I said, on the 31st against Yoka. And he's calling out Bam Rodriguez. He's actually putting him on his crosshairs or in the limelight saying, hey, you used to mention me. Then after I beat Yoka, all of a sudden, whoops, you're MIA. He said, and he said this a while back, I think. He says he talking about Bam Rodriguez, saw me fight Kazuto Ioka. And now he doesn't want to mention me anymore. Why don't you say you want to fight me? After Ioka, I'm ready for you. Do you want to unify or not? You mentioned me so much. But then when you went to see me in Japan against Yoka, you didn't say anything. Now you're dodging me? This guy, he's talking as if Bam Rodriguez owes him money or something. It's like, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? Oh, I haven't been able to get it's been a tough week. I haven't been able to get the money together. I was going to call you. You were going to call me. But, so that's Martinez dogging Bam Rodriguez. That's the Argentinian in him a little bit. The Argentinians, tend to be very flair. They've got, remember, a lot of them got Italian in them. And so they tend to be very vociferous, very animated. And I guess he's just playing this up to try to create interest in the fight. That's one of the fights that going into 2025, I'm looking for that fight, man. I'm looking forward to that fight. It's one of the ones I want to see the most. And even though some people think that I'm being overly critical of Bam Rodriguez, which I'm not, I think Rodriguez probably stops him in the middle rounds. But I think it would be very tough, man. Very tough, because this Martinez dude, he's relentless. He's fierce, a lot of power on his shots. But I think Bam Rodriguez's superior technique, shots down the line, would probably end up stopping Martinez. Probably. But like I said, he's a tough dude, man. So, I don't know. I don't know what would happen. Hold on a second. Give me 2 seconds here. Had to put on a sweater. It's getting cold in here, man. November in Canada. What do you think that's about, huh? Do you think it's a walk in the park? I mean, I'm used to the cold. The cold makes me strong. The cold gives me character, gives me wisdom. But that doesn't mean I enjoy it, all right? So that's El Puma Martinez, El Pumita, calling out Jesse Bam Rodriguez. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Is that a fight is that one of the tough fights you're looking forward to? Jesse Bam Rodriguez versus Martinez? I certainly am. Don't forget to call in, fellas. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Gonna be on here for a little while more before I call it a day. Let's see what people in the chat are saying. Sigma Human says, Evan, go eat another fat one. Oh, he's sort of intimating that Dora's been eating cock before that. Interesting. Handsome Mechanic says, stop hating Raza BDA, typical Canadian black transgender. Well, first of all, I am a Canadian citizen and I am part black, but I am not a transgender. I'll just put it that way. Backram, Crushing Might says, Backram stops Bud. It would certainly be a very difficult fight, that's for sure. I don't know who I'd pick going into that one. Handsome Mechanic says, I never heard of Puma. Well, you're about to hear about him in the next couple of episodes, let me tell you, because I'm going to be covering this potential fight nonstop. Make sure that they actually get it done. Phil Miles says, looking forward to see CP Freshmart. I want to see him school Collazo. I mean, it could be. You never know. These dudes in the little lower weight divisions, they tend to interchange titles every other week. Some of them. I mean, this minimum weight. This is the lowest weight division, as low as you can get in the weight division. So those divisions, they're like the deep sea. You ever go see those pictures of deep sea creatures? I'm talking way low, where the pressure is unbearable. They're these weird fishes, transparent, translucent, glowing. It's really a freak show. That's what 105 pounds is to me. It's a freak show. And it's a freak show where people swap titles every other day. So I'm looking forward to that fight as well. Absolutely. Knockout Net says, Mr. BDA said he's black from the rear waist down. All right. Heinrich says American boxing is trash. Jose Man says, Evan, he's Chinese. Super Sardonic says, BDA is half black, half Mexican, half Nepalese, and 3/4 Eskimo. Wine guy, actually, no, I'm not kidding around. Some people have looked at me and they go, hey, are you Mediterranean? Are you Greek? Are you this? Are you that? Some wine person even said, are you Filipino? I'm telling you, I don't have slanted eyes, so I don't know where this person got that from. I think he must have been high or something. I didn't really want to get into it, so I just left it at that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, speaking of Asians, do we have any Asian news here? Well, in the news, this just broke, I think, yesterday or today. Benavides versus David Morrell, pegged, again, I don't know if it's settled or not, for February the 1st at T-Mobile Arena. Interesting fight, that's for sure. First of all, it's a fight that could have happened at 168. But it's a fight in which two guys are coming off not looking all that hot in their 175-pound debuts. David Benavides sort of laboring in the later rounds to try to put a dent on Alexander Usyk. And then you got David Morrell stepping up against Kalashnik, the Serbian Cholo. Neither of them could do what Beterbiev did to their opponents. Beterbiev, of course, stopping Gvozdyk in 2019 and stopping Kalashnik, 2016, 2017? Meanwhile, these guys, these supposed boogeymen, couldn't do it. So they lost a little bit of luster in those debuts. So now they're doing the next best sensible thing, which is to fight each other. Really try to rekindle the fire with a win over each other. And I don't know who I'd pick in this one, fellas. I really don't. I'm going to need your help to figure this one out because on the one hand, is Benavidez a tad overrated? Sure. I guess you could say that of anybody nowadays because we're so interconnected with everybody on the internet. We get to hear so many voices. Most of the time, we tend to pay attention to the people who overhype a fighter. But Benavidez, it seems to me, might have better punch selection than Morrell. Certainly has more experience fighting southpaws like Demetrius Andrade, for example. Mobile guys like Caleb Plant. Whereas Morrell's best opponent really is Kalashnik. And think about it, that's the best guy he's fought so far, and he made him look human. Not anything like the boogeyman that we were supposed. And there's some people out there that were saying that Benavidez would, that they were certain that Benavidez would lose to Morrell. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. It's an interesting fight, for sure. So this fight should be taking place in February on Prime Video pay-per-view. Nah. No. See, this is why you got to read the articles, not just the headlines. Prime Video pay-per-view? Come on. I mean, it's a good fight, but pay-per-view. That's what the market dictates, that these two guys are these big stars and you got to pay pay-per-view to what? I mean, come on. I'm done with this fight. You know what? I don't think I'm even going to watch this fight. Nah, I'm kidding. I'll watch it and I'll probably end up... I don't even know if I can buy it. The Amazon doesn't offer these fights in Canada. That's only in the United States. That's why I haven't been able to buy any of these PBC cards. Not that Oh, no, excuse me. No. The Tank Davis one, that was on pay-per-view.com. And the Canelo Berlanga one too, as well. But the Team Zoo one that wasn't available anywhere here in Canada. Although that wasn't pay-per-view, but still, it's... now that this one's pay-per-view, what? KO.com. By the way, pay-per-view.com, they surcharge you. They've got some service fees or something that they charge you $10, $15 plus for. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're trying to scam Mr. BDA. Can you believe that? But here's the thing. Nobody scams Mr. BDA. BDA does the scamming. And I do it long and hard. That's how I scam people, if you know what I mean. I get my payback intimately. All right, listen. Enough of this. Let's talk about the next story here. But don't forget, the phone lines are open, fellas. Phone lines are open. Make sure to call in. Give us your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. Really like to hear from you. So Eddie Hearn admitting that Jaron Ennis didn't look all that hot in his last fight, and that he's gonna have to look better in the future. But he's still doubling down and saying that it's because Boots didn't look all that great because he wanted to give people a show. Boots seemed to be more focused on trying to make the fight exciting for the fans, and in turn got hit probably a little bit more than he should. I mean, is that the same thing that happened against Avanesian? Or against Lipinets when he ate a big overhand right? Or against that Dominican nobody that wobbled him early in his career? I mean, I got to tell you, I think at this point it's clear. You watch enough Jerome Boots in his fights, you see defense is not his strong suit. But of course, Eddie Hearn has to continue playing defense, interception, and say, no, guys, don't. He doesn't get hit because he's got shit defense. It's because he's really going for the knockout. I mean, there's plenty. I mean, Golovkin went for the knockout. Did you ever see him get hit this often against guys of like Karen's level? And even when he did, like when against Kell Brook, he ended up stopping those dudes. So I don't know. Jaron Ennis has to fix that defense. And like I said, I'm positive that he could do that. I believe in that the leopard can change its spots. But then again, there's a lot of if there's a lot of spots to change, maybe sometimes it's unrealistic. Can't happen. Won't happen. I don't know. But with Jaron Ennis, I'm pretty sure it could. Why not? Teofimo Lopez, by the way, in the news again. I don't know if you guys heard last week, there was a big rumor that Haney was going to come back and take on Teofimo Lopez right after taking that beating from Ryan Garcia, is going to come back against Teofimo Lopez. So people were praising Haney, saying, yep, that's what he's all about. Then Teofimo Lopez came out and said, no, that's not happening. Haven't heard anything about that. He says, where did all these rumors come from? These things come out of hat, he said. I haven't had no contact, no contract sent to me. They said we negotiated. Who said we negotiated? I'm hearing rumors. These are all false reports, he said. In fact, I think he called it false accusations. I don't know. How is that an accusation, by the way? If somebody says that hey, there are two fighters are negotiating, that's not an accusation. That's a claim. I don't know if Teofimo Lopez knows what accusations means. Hold on. Let me see if he even said that. Yeah, I'm hearing rumors of me negotiations with Devin Haney. Right now, I'm sorry to say, guys, this is all false accusation report. How is this an accusation? What is he being accused of? I don't understand. Anyway, yeah, but I was surprised. I mean, when I heard that rumor, I said, you really think Haney's going to jump in there against that guy like Teofimo Lopez? And that's the other thing. A couple of weeks ago, we got into a little mini debate. I forget with whom I got into it with that about Teofimo Lopez's power, whether it's real or whether it's overrated, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, of course, at 140, it's not what it used to be at 135, but the guy can still crack. And, excuse me, it doesn't take much to wobble Devin Haney. Excuse me, I was, I'm trying to read another link here. Somebody was sending me something. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I still think Teofimo Lopez has enough punching power to hurt Devin Haney. Now, does he have enough punching power to lay him out cold or something? I mean, I don't know. But let's keep in mind that when Devin Haney, this was 2021, by the way, when they were talking about fighting Teofimo Lopez, one of the rumors was, and this is what Steve Kim said, that after Haney struggled against Linares, especially when he got badly hurt in that fight later on, they started to sort of question, the inner circle was questioning about whether they should fight Lopez. Because say what you want about Lopez. Yes, he's volatile. He can't cut the ring off. But this fight would be a middle-of-the-ring type of affair. And that's what Teofimo Lopez wants for the most part. Now, personally, I've always felt that Devin Haney probably beats Teofimo Lopez. I always thought, well, not always, but for a long time now, I've thought that his jab would make the difference. But that chin of Devin Haney's, boy, oh boy, I really don't trust it, man. Really don't trust it. So I would have been surprised if indeed Ryan Garcia and Haney fought right after Haney is on the comeback, taking a big beating from Ryan Garcia. The other piece of news that I want to talk about here is, Keyshawn Davis set the boxing world alight when he ended up knocking out Lemos. And now people are saying, well, what about Andy Cruz? Andy Cruz seems to be, he's the guy that beat Davis in the Olympics, by the way, Olympic finals. Hearn, who manages Andy Cruz, is saying, hey, Keyshawn, forget about Gervonta Davis. You got Andy Cruz business to handle. I don't know who would pick in this one either, fellas. On the one hand, Keyshawn Davis is good, but I've yet to see real quick, right off the bat here, I've yet to see the world-class skills or pound-for-pound king that they were trying to make him out to be a couple of months ago. And he's been hurt in fights. Then again, Andy Cruz got hurt in his last fight. So these are two guys that whose punch resistance doesn't seem to be the best right now. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that one. But I don't think maybe the Sheik can make it happen. If anybody can make it, it's the Sheik. A fight between two undefeated, up-and-coming Olympians. Maybe the Sheik can throw enough money at them for them to take the risk. Don't forget, in Britain, that's what they did a couple of years ago. When James DeGale was an Olympic gold medalist, took on his undefeated amateur rival, in, what was his name again? The redheaded dude. Carl Froch fought him. What was his name again? When Carl Froch rematched him in front of 80,000 people at Wembley. I can't believe I'm forgetting the names, guys. I'm telling you, this is Groves. Thank you, BGX. George Groves. Thank you, guys. Yeah, when he fought, James DeGale was undefeated. He fought George Groves. I think they had under 10 fights, and they matched them up together. They made it happen. So, hey, why not? And then they both ended up having solid careers. So your one loss early on doesn't really take anything away from you that much. So Protector General says George Groves isn't a red hair. Really? I thought he was a little bit. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm Mexican with black hair. Anyone that doesn't have black hair for me is a widow. So what do you want me to tell you? Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. And the phone number's right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Don't forget to call in, give us your thoughts on anything and everything boxing. I'm going to still be here for another 15 minutes. Otherwise, I'm out of here. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was in the news right here, Deontay Wilder. Now, this isn't a good look, fellas. Oh, by the way, excuse me, Davis and Lamont Roach apparently has been rescheduled for March. But remember what I told you in the last episode? I am putting a moratorium on talking about Davis. I've had enough of Davis. If he's not finding anybody worth a damn, I'm not talking about him at all. So screw that fight. Don't really care. Deontay Wilder, yeah, not looking good here. He came out on social media saying that he had a broken arm for the Joseph Parker fight, or at least just the Zhang fight, a broken arm. And he said, listen, everyone's going to have an opinion about you. Excuse me. So anyway, he said he had a broken arm. Then he went into specifics and he said he had 2 tears in his shoulder. Now, he didn't mention which shoulder. One has to suppose that he's talking about his right shoulder, right, which is his money punch. And then he said, well, I had a tear against Zhang. So now people start saying, oh, boy. This is the boy who cried wolf. I mean, how many excuses? This dude is the king of excuses. Nobody in the world of boxing has made as many excuses or as many outrageous excuses as Deontay Wilder. And a lot of that had to do with his fans, too. They're the ones that planted those ideas in their king's head. But really, it's look, he got beat up by guys every time he stepped up. He stepped up against Luis Ortiz, almost got stopped, right? That was his best opponent at the time. Steps up against Fury, should have gotten the loss. They gave him the win. Finally, Fury finds his balls, comes forward, beats the crap out of Wilder twice. Joseph Parker comes forward, beats him. Zhang demolishes him. Those are his best opponents, and he always struggled. Now, people made excuses for Wilder, saying, oh, he doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't have the timing anymore. I got news for you. His timing was always subpar, but he was getting away with it because he was fighting subpar opposition. As soon as he stepped up against Joseph Parker, Zhang, Fury, he looked like crap. So now he's making excuses saying, well, I lost to these guys because I had a tear in on my shoulder. Now he says, apparently he's heard about that, and he said, well, listen, everyone's going to have an opinion about you, but those opinions don't matter. You're going to have life hit you and knock you down. It's the mindset to keep pushing forward. I mean, that part is correct, but when you start having to make outlandish excuses, now you're not living in reality anymore. And that's more dangerous than any one person criticizing you. Anyway, he went on to say, I've been through losses way before boxing. I've been through challenges way before I stepped foot in the ring. I've been hit, knocked down way before. Okay, he's giving his life story. Another important mission is to get in the ring and do what I was meant to do. Well, apparently he was Francis Ngannou. He was Francis Ngannou, and I got to tell you, man, don't be surprised if Ngannou ices this guy. Because Ngannou has a heck of a counter left hook. And it would be his counter left hook against Wilder's right hand. It would be a gunslinger type of fight. Whoever is the quickest gunslinger wins. And maybe Wilder's straighter punch, the right hand, beats Ngannou. I mean, Joshua did end up looking like the best puncher in the world when he fought Ngannou. So maybe Wilder could do something similar. But what happens if Ngannou pressures him? And Wilder just gets on the defensive like he always does and starts, his techniques go by the wayside. And what happens there? So I don't know what is left for Wilder. The PBC, they certainly need a star. They need names. Maybe they'll bring him back for an Amazon pay-per-view, right? Maybe they put him in there against Andy Luis, and they make a pay-per-view out of it or something. I don't know. But his name is still out there. There's still interest in there. People, they can still market him as a big puncher. So we'll see what happens. But making the excuses and all that, not a good look. Not a good look. Then again, were people expecting anything differently from Deontay Wilder? See what people are saying in the chat. DeGale versus Jack ended in a draw. Yeah, you remember that? By the way, Jack's the king of the draws. He's got like 3 or 4 draws. Unknown says 30 for 30 on tomato can statue. Manos de Dinamita said Zhang had dumplings in his gloves. Yeah, yeah, he was cheating against Wilder, that's for sure. Protector General says the Joshua Power didn't look great against Dubois. Nothing from Joshua looked great in that fight, let me tell you. Raphael 32, shout out to him, says, I remember it was something. DeGale had good fights. His sister being in the ringside, that was the best part of James DeGale fights, let me tell you. Hold on, let me see if we can Google her. Then again, it's already been that when his sister came on the scene, that was in 2016, so 8 years already. I don't know if she's aged well or whatever. Yeah, that's his sister right there. Look at that. How many guys did DeGale had to fight off growing up? Guys, pervs like me who just wanted to, defile his sister. That's what I call it, by the way. I went up to a girl the other day. I said, I want to defile you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. 50-50. You guys have to try it out. It doesn't always work. You gotta have, you gotta have a certain style like I do. So yeah, that's his sister right there. Oh, I forgot. DeGale fought Chris Eubank. One of the most boring fights I've ever seen. If you like clinching, if you like seeing two sweaty guys, shirtless guys clinching a lot, yeah, that's fights for you, man. Go rewatch that one. Rafael Garza says, tell her about me. Yeah, sure. I'll call her up right now. Tell her about the legend, Rafael Garza. Dark Hado says, how many times did you get slapped, BDA? Well, it's not about how many times you get slapped. It's how many times you can turn your face around and say, is that all you got, bitch? But I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, we've had some good fights in boxing. We got some solid fights this Saturday. Some people are everyone is saying, by the way, that Cepeda versus Tevin Farmer is a precursor. I don't even think I pronounced that well with my fucking accent, but it's a preview of what Cepeda versus Shakur Stevenson would probably look like. And how's that going to work, by the way? Because there's talking about that fight being in February, the Cepeda-Stevenson fight. That means Stevenson's not going to get a tune-up? I don't know how wise that is for him. I mean, he's a guy that relies on speed, reflexes, and he'd be fighting a guy that's going to be coming forward. So, I don't know, man. Again, I'm not a fan of Shakur Stevenson, but if I'm part of his team or whatever, try to get him a tune-up beforehand. Then again, I don't know when he's allowed to fight. And again, he's a pretty cocky guy, so he probably believes he can just win, come off an injury and beat this guy. That's how good he thinks he is. By the way, on the Tyson-Jake Paul undercard, Lucas Badi, who's from my neck of the woods. Well, he's not exactly, he's from Canada, but he's not a Quebec guy. But he's the guy that fought H2O, that 20-year-old prospect, on the last Jake Paul fight. He was getting beat up for about 7-8 rounds. And then Badi exploded with his power and ended up knocking out the guy cold. Well, he's returning on that Jake Paul undercard. And he's taking on another undefeated American. This time a little older guy, 24 years old. Corey Marksman. That's him right there. And he looks like a fruit bat for some reason. Look at that. But anyway, he's 5'8". I haven't seen him fight. I'm going to check him out and see if I can find out some of his fights on YouTube. But he's undefeated. He had one draw. That's his only blemish on his record. But he avenged that draw. I believe it was his last fight. Yeah, in his last fight against another undefeated guy by the name of Tony Aguilar. And so, should be, I'm telling you, this card, if I were in Texas like Southpaw, maybe I'd end up going to the fight. Why not? You got this Badi guy against another undefeated guy. You got Mario Barrios, Abel Ramos. I guess when the women's fight comes along, that's usually when you go to the concession stand or, go take a piss or a long crap if you have to. I don't know. But so I'm telling you, it's a good little window there to have some rest. It looks like it's going to be a good event. Probably will be a success. I don't know. A financial success. Well, listen, fellas, that's all I've got for today in terms of news. You guys let me know if anyone wants to give a last call here. Sergeant in the chat, shout out to Sergeant, says, did you see Jake Paul punk Bruce Carrington? Wow, I saw something about, I just checked the Discord and somebody posted something about that. Hold on, let me check. Oh yeah, by the way, Shushu Carrington's also on that card, right? Is he on that card? Yeah, I think so. I'm getting Floyd Schofield confused, Shushu Carrington confused, Abdullah Mason. Starting to get all these guys confused, man. I'm gonna have to watch more of them. because I'm losing track of these prospects, and I want to keep track of them because I want to see how they develop. Raphael says Farmer looked good against Raymond, but that's why he's getting this fight. Absolutely. All right, let's check this video out. What's going on here?
How much you want to bet? How much? How much you? How much? As much as you're willing to lose, brother. Okay, so I'll give you my property. How much? How much? My property
Why is Jake Paul getting into it with Gaddafi?
is like more than 1 million. I'll give
Gaddafi Jr.
you. Deal.
Okay, so he's making bets with the fighters there. Hold on. What the fuck? How did I lose the video?
How much you want to bet? How much? How much you? How much? As much as you're willing to lose, brother. Okay, so I'll give you my property. How much? How much? My property is like more than 1 million. I'll give you. Deal.
My property. Imagine it's some fucking place next to an American base that's gonna get bombed in 2 months or something.
How much you want to bet? Bro, the time I spent taking...
Look at fucking Bruce Carrington's eyes, man. What the fuck? He looks like he's on drugs or something, man.
Bro, the time
Look at that face, man. What the fuck?
I spent taking a shit is how much you make in your whole life.
Oh. Wait a
How much
minute.
you want to lose? $1 million. Deal. We got 1 million.
I don't think Bruce Carrington has $1 million. What's he doing? He fell into the trap. See, that's how young people fall into the trap, because Jake Paul pulled the I got more money than you crap, which, well, what does that mean? You're still a low-class bum. That's what I would have told him. But Bruce Carrington, I don't know, maybe he listens to the hippity hop or something, and that's how he got under his skin. I don't know.
The time I spent taking a shit is how much you make in your whole life, buddy. Shut the fuck up. How much you want to lose? $1 million. Deal. We got 1 million here, 1 million here. Come on. You guys want to fucking do this? Put your money where your mouth is. How much money? Exactly. How much money? Exactly. How much money? A ring. Deal. Let's go. I'm following up on all this shit. $1 million? $1 million? $20 right here. That's what I thought.
It goes down in 2 days' time, my friends. Once again, most valuable.
Yeah, so evidently he's trying to hype this fight up. And like other people were saying, all the other callers were saying, he's trying to play up the bad guy angle so that people watch people tune into Netflix to watch, hoping that Tyson can knock his ass out. See, this tactic usually doesn't work. I've seen other fighters try to pull off the bad guy angle. Oh, he's pulling off the bad guy angle because he wants to be the next Floyd. That only works if you're a star already or on the way to becoming a star. If you're a nobody, people are just going to think you're an asshole. They probably won't even watch you fight. But Jake Paul is in that stratosphere where a lot of people know who he is. So now he's saying, you know what, I'm going to play up the bad guy angle, knowing that people are probably going to pay to watch me lose, or hoping that I lose. So we'll see what happens, man. Yeah, they're really trying to sell this one. Hawker Mustang says, Wes Watson or Jake Paul? Who is more alpha? Yeah, well, Wes Watson is always telling people how much money he makes in the moment he's talking to them. I've never seen that before. Usually people say, you know, I'm worth this or I'm doing well, okay. Watson will actually tell you how much money he's doing currently. He's like, well, you know, in the last 20 seconds, I just made 30 grand, you know. Or he says we. Like, who the fuck is we? You know, in the last 45 seconds, I just made 1.5 mil. You know, I just made $5 billion. I just made $6 billion, dollars. I just burned 6 billion Jews in the last couple of 30 minutes. That's how I'm rolling. And thinking, what? Meanwhile, he's renting a mansion. And people are calling him out for being a fake. He can't even lift, by the way, properly. Then people challenge him to a fight. He runs to the gym administration and tells them, hey, this guy was mean to me. Could you get him banned from the gym? I mean, I got to tell you. So I think Jake Paul at least has been getting into the ring, trying to make something happen. Wes Watson, he's just rolling around. By the way, you ever see that Wes Watson, every time he makes videos, he always puts the camera to the side so that he can flex his arms. He's always flexing the arm. That's why by the 2-minute mark of the video, his voice starts shaking a little bit. Because he's always tight. Yeah, man, I think he goes back to prison days when he had to put something in his man purse. You know what I mean? When he had to transport merchandise in his man purse. And you really got to tighten up so that it doesn't come out and the CEOs don't see it. So maybe that's going on. That's what's going on with Wes Watson. But yeah, Jake Paul definitely has more cojones than Wes Watson. What else we got here? Sergeant says, I did a mill walking up my stairs. Yeah, that sounds like something old Wes would say. Never Goon says Jake Paul wins just based on age. Health is Wealth says Jake Paul in his Hogan NWO heel bag. Protector General asks, is it even going to be a real fight? That's what I'm dubious about. That's what I'm wondering. Is it even going to be a real fight? I don't know. Sigma Human says, Carrington betting 1 mil. LOL. Yeah, he does. I don't think he's got a mil. I don't know what he's doing. Carrington, Jump to says, Carrington has that I got no money look. I mean, he had the give me some money look. Like, Knockout Net says, looks like Jake showed him magic. Yeah, that's what it looked like, eh? Or, you know what, it looks like he showed him blue magic, if you know what I mean. And sort of that got his attention up. Look. Hold on a second, let me put it back up here. I gotta rewind a little bit. The fuck was that, man? That's the face I would make when I would go to the newsstand and look at and see that they had a new Ring magazine issue. The new Ring magazine issue. You're looking at it, it's nice and glossy. You can tell no one's been reading it because nobody really likes boxing. And then you say, yes, that's it. That's the face I would make. Now, sometimes they would have to call security at the mall where I used to buy it at, but hey, as long as you get the new issue, that's all I care about. What's that logo on Jake Paul's W? Is that his logo? I don't know. It looks like a little kid that drew that. Anyway, that's all we got for today, fellas. That's all I've got for today. So thanks to everybody who called in, everybody that tuned in. Hope you guys enjoy the show. We'll try to be back, I don't know, maybe Friday, countdown show. I don't know. Depends on how we work it out. Depends if anybody's interested in a countdown show on a Friday. Of course, I'm looking forward to the Saturday fights the most, so maybe we should do a countdown for that one. Although those fights are from Saudi Arabia, so they're going to start pretty early. So forget a countdown show there. That's difficult to do. Anyway, shout out to everybody who donated for the Super Chat. Really appreciate it. Like I said, everybody who called in, all of our subscribers and members of the BDA organization, Rapax Trucking Company, La Losoto Gaming, Rafael Garza, shout out to you guys. And everybody in the chat, talking about Dark Hey Dog, Knockout Ned, Super Sardonic, So Passive Live, Jump Tube, Protectorate General, Sergeant, Jin Ryu Jr., 33, Rafael Garza, Dark Hey Dog. How come I can't see the rest of the names here? Hold on a second. Yeah, Knockout Ned, Dora was in there as well, Unknown, Phil Miles, So Passive Live, Raphael 32, Health is Wealth, Sigma Human, iRugs, Trooper 5131, Warrior Way, Crushing Might, Handsome Mechanic, Knockout Ned, Jump Tube. If I forgot anybody, Exponer, Dennis from Boston. Shout out to Dennis from Boston. Haven't seen him in a while. If I forgot anybody, it's because we gotta go. But shout out to you, fellas. Hope you enjoy the show. Don't forget to hit the like on the way out. And we'll catch you on the next one, fellas. Take it easy. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Woo-hoo.